Shalawam, and welcome back to The Hidden Chosen. I am Hadassah Saiwan, and I'm back with End Times Prophecy Watch. And now we're moving on to part 4, the coming great earthquake, and that will be seal number 6. Now, we've looked at this briefly in previous studies, but I have not done a detailed study about this coming event. It's going to be a great event, and the Most High has given me more information concerning this coming great earthquake. So let's get started. Because the war between the two beasts, which will be the Beast Empire number 7 and the Anti-Messiah, against the Northern Kingdom, brethren, will be intense. And they, speaking of the two beasts, will prevail against our brethren. Alahayam will cause these two evil entities to be halted in their tracks by seal number 6, the coming great earthquake. Now, if you're viewing this study for the first time without having a look at the previous 6 studies, you're going to be lost as concerning this war between the Northern Kingdom and the two beasts. Okay, my suggestion is please go back to the previous studies, they're not very long, and try to take a look at those ones so that you can have a clear understanding about this great war that is coming. All right, the time of Yaakob's trouble. It will be due to this earthquake that all technology will cease permanently, and this is the part that I was given more information concerning technology. All right, so let's go to Revelation chapter 6 verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. That's how intense and immense this earthquake is going to be. It's going to affect the sun, the moon, and the stars, because the earth is going to shake and the heavens are going to shake. Let's go on to verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Now there are people teaching that this seal has been opened already. Now, there's no time in history that the heaven departed like a scroll, meaning it rolled together to reveal the throne room of Alahayam and Hamashiach. Neither has there been an earthquake so great that every mountain, not mountains in a particular country, but every mountain and every island were moved out of their places. That has not happened yet. We have had earthquakes, some terrible, some not as terrible, but none to this degree, where it will affect both the heavens and the earth. Let's move on to verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Now, has this happened yet? No, it hasn't. The kings of the earth are the leaders, the evil, wicked leaders that we have today. They're the ones that have built their underground layers, their underground cities, they call them, because they're trying. Well, let's take out that word trying. They're going to make a valiant effort to hide from the face of Alahayam Yahweh and Hamashiach. So they're figuring, okay, so let's build ourselves some underground cities that when this event takes place, because they know about it, that we have some place to hide from him. until the coast is clear, then we come back out. But what they don't understand is that every eye will see them. That's Yahweh and Hamashiach. When the heaven departs like a scroll, when it rolls together to reveal the faces of Alahayam, Yahweh, and Hamashiach, every eye will see them, even the dead underneath the earth will see them. So they're going to hide in their lairs. And even though they're hidden there, they're still going to beg the rocks to fall on them. Because they're figuring, well, if the rocks cover us, even though they're on the ground, even though they're on the ground, they're figuring maybe we need more layers of rocks to cover us. But no matter how thick the layering is, every eye will still see them. And they will see everyone on the earth and under the earth, the living and the dead. All right? No one can escape not seeing Yahweh and Hamashiach. Verse 16, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. So they want to hide from Yahweh and from the Lamb who is Hamashiach. So they're begging the rocks. Yeah, they're hiding in their lairs. But they can still see. They can still see the throne room from where they are, beneath the earth. All right? Verse 17. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? That day is coming. We know with certainty that this seal is not broken, because we have not seen or heard of an earthquake of this magnitude ever occurring, where mountains and islands will be removed. Neither have we seen the heavens roll together like a scroll, revealing Alahayam on the throne. And that should be singular heaven, because the dome above us is the division between first heaven, which is what we can see where the sun, moon, and stars are, and then second heaven, that's above the dome. So but between the two of them, there's this layer that hides what is on level 2 all the way up to level 7 where the throne room is. So this is the part of the heaven that will depart like a scroll, that it will vanish away. So let's read on. When this event takes place, it will not be subtle, neither will be obscured. Even the great men that are running this earth will run to hide in the underground lairs prepared specifically for this occasion. Now, you have felt, I'm sure every single person on this earth has felt an earthquake of some magnitude or the other, even the tremors. I've felt them several times, and there's no mistaking that the earth is shaking. Now, when you have an earthquake that is so great that it will cause the mountains and the earth to be removed, the mountains and the islands to be removed. It will cause the stars in the heaven to fall to the earth. It will cause the sun to become black like sackcloth of hair, and it will cause the moon to turn to blood. And it will cause the heaven to depart like a scroll, to roll together like a scroll, revealing the other levels of heavens above us. All right. So you know that has got to be the most extremely intense earthquake that this earth will have ever seen. There'll be more coming after that, but this would be the beginning of those earthquakes that will be off the charts. All right? Let's read on. The prophet Yashaoyah also prophesied about this great earthquake that is due to come very soon. It is here where we can see the evidence of what will happen to the two beasts, as both of these entities are prophesied as the most high ones, meaning the fallen angels and Satan's, and kings who are the leaders. So let's read Yashaoyah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 24, verse 17. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitant of the earth. And it shall come to pass that he who flees from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that comes up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. That's a trap. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. So here we see that even though they're talking, the prophet said the windows on high are open, he's letting us know that now to those who are on the earth because of this shaking. And this shaking is going to be from the foundations of the earth. Verse 19. The earth is utterly broken down and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. Sorry, let me reread that. I think I missed a verse there. Go back to verse 19. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved, meaning break in pieces. The earth is moved exceedingly. That means greatly. So this earthquake that Yashaoyah spoke about, he is talking about the whole earth. He's not talking about a particular region. Like in the days of Uzziah, there was a great earthquake in the land of Yashrael. But he's talking about the whole earth. So when he said the earth is clean, does that mean it's going to break in pieces? Why? The Most High is going to break it in pieces in order to dissolve some that did not belong there for a particular reason. We're going to look at that in a little while. All right? But there must be some breaking, and some of these pieces are going to disappear. All right, let's read on. Verse 20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Now, when you see a drunk man swaying from side to side, that's because he's lost his balance. He is intoxicated. And this is how the earth is going to be, like a drunkard, swaying back and forth. And shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. So what is on the earth that is causing this earthquake is seal number 5, the war between the beast empire number 7 and the anti-Messiah against the northern kingdom. They represent the transgression that will be heavy upon the earth. And then to make matters worse, they're going to start slaughtering the people of Alahayam. All right? And he said here, and it shall fall and not rise again, because the Most High, once he brings this earthquake upon the earth, it's going to change the dynamics on the earth in favor of the people of Alahayam now. Because he's getting ready to regather the northern kingdom, and he's getting ready to prepare their land, our land, the land of Yashrael, so that they can enter into their land without any fighting, no problems. The land is desolate now. And getting ready for his son to return to the earth as king, to set up his kingdom on the earth. All right? So that's why what was happening before the earthquake will not happen to that degree ever again because of this earthquake. Verse 21, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high. He called them the host that are the host of the high ones, speaking of the fallen angels. They're the high ones. right? Because they came from on high, they came from the heavens. So he's going to punish them in that day. He's going to punish them, right? And the kings of the earth upon the earth. He's going to punish the leaders, and he's going to punish these fallen angels and the Satans. Because the Satan that will possess empire number 7, beast empire number 7, will be Gadriel. He will be kicked out of that empire. But let's see what else he's going to do as part of their punishment. Because he's not going to cast them in the lake of fire yet. No, they still have a role to play in the sifting of the Gentiles. Okay? Verse 22. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. So here is what is going to happen to the beast empire number 7 and the Satan, who is Gadriel, who will be ousted out from his place, having dominion over the people on the earth. Alahayam is going to shut them up. Now remember, I said to you many times before when we have looked at this, what's been going on, what will be going on concerning the great earthquake. What now he is showing us with proof and with clarity that he is going to put them in a prison. Meaning that they will have no more effect on the earth until he releases them from that prison. Do you know why? Do you know why he's going to do this? For the very same reason why he did it when our forefathers were in Goshen. Remember that study that I did? When our forefathers were in Goshen, Alahayam, when it was time for his people to go and get reparations from Matsarayam, he put the devils, the fallen angels, and the Satans in prison. So that when his people went to Matsarayam, who were the Egyptians, they gave them everything that they owned: silver, gold, bronze, dyes of all kinds, right? Brass, bronze, whatever you want to call it. They literally opened up their treasures, and they gave them jewels of all kinds as well. That was because the devils were not there to prohibit this action from occurring. All right? And then it was time for Yashaoyah, the 12 tribes of Yashaoyah, to leave on their second exodus. They were put in prison again. Yes, they were. Okay? And after 3 days, Alahayam released them from the prison, because it was due to these fallen angels and the works of the devils that Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and the people's hearts were hardened against Yashaoyah. But when Alahayam put them in prison, they have no choice but to do his bidding. Not that the devils had power over Alahayam's plans or purpose, no. But he is showing us his power. When he wants things done a certain way, he will utilize the devils and the demons and the fallen angels to do it. And when he wants them to stop, he just puts them in a prison. He puts them in a prison. It's time for you to shut up now. It's time for you to be quiet. Stay low. And then when it's time for them to continue on, then he releases them. And this is exactly what verse 22 is saying here. And this is going to happen for a particular reason, why he is going to put them in a prison. Let's read on. We see the evidence of the beast empire and the anti-Messiah, comprised of the Satans, fallen angels, and the great rulers of the earth being held prisoners due to the great earthquake. All right? So don't worry about the earthly people, the evil rulers on this earth. They can't do anything. They have no power except the power that is given to them by these fallen angels. So once the fallen angels and the devils are in prison, these ones too is as if they're in prison too. They can't do anything. This is for the purpose of allowing the northern kingdom brethren to begin their second exodus without any incidents from these evil entities. So how it was in the beginning with our forefathers in Goshen is how it will be again for the northern kingdom brethren. Remember, they have come out from a great war against these two beasts. So now Alahayam is going to give them a reprieve from these devils so that they can get themselves together, pack up their things, and start their exodus without any issues, any problems, any saying, any words from anyone whatsoever. And every person on this earth will know that these are the people of Alahayam Yahweh when they begin this exodus. And no one can do anything about it because the devils that are running them, they're in prison. The wicked ones will take this time of being imprisoned by Yahweh to regroup and to rebuild their evil agendas for the next and final coming beast empire, which is number 8. This is the last beast empire this earth will ever see. Okay? This great earthquake will serve several purposes: to stop the war between the northern kingdom and the two beasts, the beast empire number 7 and the anti-Messiah. It will completely annihilate all technology on the earth. So everything that you see on this earth now that is technology basically is gone. It's finished. This is the great earthquake. It will reconstruct the earth into one landmass again. Now it did a study, the book of Revelation, the complete book of Revelation, and I spoke about this. The earth is going to come back to being one landmass again. Remember, that's how it was in the beginning. And then when the flood came, changed everything. Let's read on. The earth was originally one landmass until the time of the great flood found in Yashaoyah chapter 6. That's Genesis chapter 6. The waters that inundated the earth came from the heavens above and from the depths beneath the earth. With these two great bodies of waters from above and below colliding together and flooding the earth, caused the divisions of the earth into continents and islands. That's what happened. All right? Now, the coming great earthquake will cause these continents and islands, if they fit, to come together like gigantic puzzle pieces to form once again one land mass. Now remember, some islands were formed from limestone or volcanic lava. There's some islands that were not there originally, but they came to be because of the incidents of earthquakes, underground volcanoes that erupted, and other things. All right? Those ones that don't fit will be completely destroyed in the earthquake. While bringing these continents and islands together, this great earthquake will also destroy every standing building, whether apartment buildings, hotels, businesses, homes, poles with electrical wiring and power grids. All will be terribly devastated as nothing will be left standing. Now, this is the part that I did not even consider or even thought of until the Most High showed it to me and explained it to me. The earth is going to go back into a place of desolation. Okay? So all these high rises that you see, gone. Electrical poles, all kinds of grids, power grids, gone. Let's see what else. No more automobiles of any kind. No airports, seaports, ships, airplanes, trains, and anything moving that needs technology. All will go. They'll all go. Vanished as if they never existed. So that's why he said the earth is going to break in pieces. Why do you think the earth is going to break in pieces? So it can swallow up these things. He's not going to leave debris behind for people to go and have to go and filter through. No! The earthquake is coming, is going to bring these things down, and it's going to split the earth up to swallow up these things and then close it all up again. All this is going to happen in one motion. So what about the people? Well, he has a way of preserving people, because look at people in great that have survived great earthquakes. Remember that one in Japan? People survived that one. Even the tsunami that came, people survived it. He will create a way for people on the earth to survive. Not everyone is going to survive, but some of the people will survive. All right? So he's going to bring everything down and then he's going to bury it. Therefore, all evidence of technology will be utterly erased from off the face of the earth, and the earth will lay desolate and empty of what it once had. A lot of clutter, all the things that you see, creating smog, creating all kinds of problems, pollution. Even the lights on the street, light pollution. I come here in this country that I'm in right now, and it's not very technology advanced like, say, other countries. And when you go in the desert where there are no street lights, in fact, here they have way too many street lights anyway. But when you go way into the country area, well, there's no country area, but in the desert area, or even on the mountains where there are no light poles, right? There are no artificial lights up there. And when the moon shines, it shines beautifully. All right? You can actually see the moon and the moonlight. But when you're living in a city surrounded by all kinds of lights, you can't see the moon. You can't see the stars. All right? So all this technology, this clutter, gone. In the prophecy of Yashaoyah, we see that the earth will become desolate and empty, which is a prophecy that had not been fulfilled as yet, because this is coming. Therefore, this is coming. Now, he is speaking about the whole earth. He is not speaking about the land, Yasha'al. Let's go to Yashaoyah chapter 24. Now we're going to go back to verse 1. Behold, Yahweh makes the earth empty, and makes it waste and turns it upside down and scattered abroad the inhabitants thereof. So he's going to cause the people to be scattered, because now, you know, another thing that's going to happen, all the invisible lines, that borders that the so-called governments have established to say this is my country and these are our rules and our laws and whatnot, all that gone. All boundaries gone. No more countries per se to say, like China and Japan and Yashaoyah. There will be Yashaoyah. That's the only country that will remain. But I'm talking about the other ones like Australia and the Caribbean islands. If they survive this earthquake, many of them are not going to survive this earthquake, because many of those islands came as a result of volcanic eruptions. All right? And other continents as well, you know, like Russia and all that gone. One landmass now to be divided in the way, talking about the boundaries now, divided in a way in which Alahayam Yahweh is going to divide it. And that's going to happen when his son comes. All right? Now, the people will now be scattered far and wide because of this disaster. They're going to want shelter, they're going to want food, and they're going to go where there is fresh water and food. And then they're going to start building again, but this time they're going to build simple. None of these extravagant buildings where you see they're using a lot of chemicals and you know, in, they don't use wood in some countries. They use what they call it chip wood. You know, they get the wood and they chip it up and then they add glue and they make these plywood and all these different crazy things, right? No, they're going to cut down a tree and they're going to make their log cabins the way how it used to be, or they're just going to go and make their homes out of make mud bricks, what have you. They're going to go back to where how life was before they had technology. All right. And one thing about mankind, they are very resilient. They can bounce back. All right. And Alahayam is going to make sure he's not going to cut off the fresh water from the land, and they're going to have fruits still growing on trees, so there will be food. They're still going to have animals, so they go kill a cow, get some beef. All right. But when it comes to technology now, they're not going to have that. They're going to have to cook over a fire the way how it used to be. All right. So let's read on. Verse 2. It shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. So everybody will be the same. There will be no more maid and mistress, servant and master, because everyone will be lacking and looking for shelter, for food, and for water. So what does that sound like to you? That the playing field now that we see in this world has completely been flattened. Everyone now is on the same page. Everyone is on the same playing field. There's no one above another person. No one extremely rich and others extremely poor. Then you have the middle class somewhere in between. None of that. Everyone on the same page, on the same level. Verse 3. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled. For Yahweh has spoken this word. You see, the land, the entire earth will be utterly emptied, emptied of all the things that we see around us right now. Not one building standing, not one brick remaining. All gone. All gone. Verse 4, the earth mourns and fades away. The world languishes and fades away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. What is this everlasting covenant? That is going back to the days of Noah. Alahayam made an everlasting covenant with the earth. All right? Because of what had happened on the earth that caused the flood, the abominations, the fallen angels mixing with mankind and bringing about the giants, and then the giants, which were, they call them the Nephilim, doing their abominations. It made the Most High angry. And so the earth is doing the same thing all over again. Alahayam made a promise that he would not send a flood. And he made that covenant with the rainbow, that he was never going to bring a flood ever again to destroy everything on the earth, including the people. But now the earth, the inhabitants on the earth has gone back and done the same thing that they did before. And now the covenant that Alahayam made is broken. It has to be broken now, so that he can send the earthquake to destroy the works of the enemy. That would be technology and some of the wicked people along with it. Let's read on. Therefore has the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. He's still going to leave some behind. They're going to multiply like bunnies, but he's going to leave a few behind. But many are going to be destroyed. All right? Let's go on. Proof that technology will cease to exist upon the earth is found in the prophecies of the last two end times wars. Mankind will return to live as in the day before this wretched technology was invented, the days of horses, horsemen, and ships with oarsmen, like long ago. So I know there are some people that cannot justify and reconcile these scriptures when they see horses and horsemen in the future. They cannot reconcile this. They think it is some sort of symbolism or something else. I don't know. They glaze over it because I've listened to them. I want to hear what they're going to say. But you see, when you are not being taught by Rawak HaKadash, you're going to have to glaze over, or you're going to have to make it up as you go along. If there are going to be horses and horsemen, swords, bucklers, shields, ships, all right, in the future, and there's no indication of technology. Now, you can't say that Yawachanan and Danaya'al and Yashaoyah, they have never seen technology, so they can't describe it. Well, you know what they would do? They will give you some sort of indication that it is something mechanical, something different. But they did not say that. They spoke about horses. They spoke about horsemen. They spoke about ships. All right? These are things, and shields and bucklers. bows and arrows. That's in the Gog and Magog war. All right. Now, why will they have those kind of antiquated weaponry when today look at what they have access to? Yawakanan, Yahazakaal, Yashaoyah, and who was the other one? Danayaal. Did not see flying arrows with fire in the back. That's how they would describe it. Large arrows with fire coming from the back. They didn't say that. So that means that something has occurred that will cause mankind to go back to simpler lives, simpler things. Okay, let's read Revelation chapter 9, verse 15. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. Now, I'm just using these verses, these scriptures as examples to show you in the future, in the coming future, mankind will have to resort to riding horses again. No more cars, no more buses, no more trains, no more airplanes. Even the ships are going to be changed. Let's read on. Verse 16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. So let's go down to Revelation chapter 19, verse 11. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. And he who sat upon him was called Faithful and True. He were what? Hamashiach, when he comes to the earth for the second time, he's coming riding a horse, a white horse. Verse 14, let's go down to verse 14. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Those will be the southern kingdom returning with him to the earth. Let's drop down to verse 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great Alahayam, that you may eat the flesh of the kings, and the flesh of the captains, and the flesh of the mighty men, and the flesh of the horses, and of them that sit on them, meaning the horsemen, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beast, which is the anti-Messiah, and the kings of the earth, and their armies, gathered together to make war against him who sat on the horse and against his army. Okay? The horses will be manifestations of devils, as nothing that Yochanan had described had not been seen before, even today. So, they have these heads of lions and mouth coming out of their mouth. You have fire and smoke and brimstone and all these different things, right? Those are demons. The devils will remove all camouflages of their evil presence on the earth, unmasking themselves to reveal their true evil appearance. We saw more information about horses and only horses, swords, shields, and bucklers being used in the coming war of Gog and Magog. So a buckler is a small shield that is used for hand-to-hand combat. A shield is much bigger. All right? Yahazakaal chapter 38 verse 1. That's the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog and the land of Magog, and the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus said Yahweh Alahayam, behold, I am against you, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn you back and put hooks into your jaws, and I will bring you forth and all your army, horses and horsemen. Hello, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling what? Swords. So they're not coming with guns. They're not coming with machine guns, armory, all kinds of, tanks. No, they're coming on horses, and they're coming with their shields and bucklers and their swords, and gonna have bows and arrows as well. So that already tells you that in the coming future there'll be no technology. Revelation chapter 20 verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, a number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So we see that the Gog and Magog war is spoken of by Yochanan the apostle here in the book of Revelation. Is spoken of extensively in the book of Yahazakaal, chapter 38 and 39, and now we see it spoken of here by Yochanan. We know that the Satan that is going to be loosed out of the prison, this is Gadriel, and Alahayam Yahweh is going to take him down himself. All right. And he's the one, they're the ones that he's going to put a hook in their jaws, and he's going to lead them into the mountains of Yashraal. And that's where he's going to destroy them. We know that the war of Gog and Magog is set for after the millennial reign of Hamashiach. And we can see from these examples in verses that horses and horsemen will be their only way of transportation on land. Now, mind you, they're going to have carts. People are going to be using their donkey carts, probably have some mules. But when it comes now to these military, the armies, look at what they're using. Horses. If Alahayam is going to give a vision of the future, he will not show horses to his servants, if there will not be any horses. Those who do not understand these end-time prophecies will glaze over this very important point, thinking that horses are tanks or some other symbolism for some technology item, like a tank or, armored truck with horsepower. Maybe they think the horses mean horsepower. I don't know. But I don't know how you can read these scriptures that talk about horses and horsemen, horses and men that sat upon them, and not scratch your brain a little bit to try to figure out, like, so what then will happen in the future that will cause mankind to resort to the ways of the old of ancient times, basically, because that's how it was in ancient times. That means something has got to happen to devastate technology. That's the great earthquake. There will be transportation on the sea, but mainly for the moving of merchandise to be sold at the main port city. That is a study coming up. After the great earthquake, ships will be made again, but made of wood, as it will be the most efficient and quicker way to make a ship, plus the fact that the tools needed to make ships of metal will no longer exist. So all these ships that you see carrying these big long containers, gone. They're going to sink. This earthquake that is coming is going to do, like, destroy. It's going to be destructive, but at the same time it's going to reconstruct. All right. So all those metal ships that you see out in the sea, gone. But mankind will make ships all over again. This time they're going to make it out of wood. Revelation chapter 8, verse 8. And the second angel sounded, And as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. So this trumpet here, the second trumpet, we see that even after the great earthquake, and they're going to make ships, that this volcano is going to cause a third of the ships to be destroyed. Burn it all up. Burn them all up. Revelation chapter 18, verse 17. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning. This is the port city that I was talking about earlier, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust upon their heads, and they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. So there were ships after the great earthquake, and there's a small little window of reprieve to regather themselves, a reprieve moment, or a moment of I'm all tongue tied. It's a moment where they can regather themselves and rebuild. A moment of quiet. And in that moment, mankind started building ships and started trading and all these different things. And we're going to do a study on this particular city that will be destroyed as well later on. All right? For in 1 hour she is made desolate. That's that city. Seeing all of the technology being used in the military and the other robotic technology, jets and fighter jets with cloaking technology, and much more that we are not privy to, why then will the enemies of Alahayam be riding only horses and transporting their merchandise in ships? What happened to the airplanes? What happened to the airports? All gone. The only explanation for this to occur will be the complete annihilation of all technology done by Alahayam using his seal number 6, the great earthquake. This has not occurred as yet based on all the evidence in the prophecies that we have looked at so far. And now after this great earthquake, the earth will be an even playing field for the remaining inhabitants on the earth, which will be the Gentiles, to choose to worship Alahayam and to live in righteousness and in holiness or not. So he's going to make it for them now to see who he is, to see his power, to see his might. All right? And they're going to have a choice to make, either to serve him or not. The Gentiles now will be given every opportunity to make this choice, as they will now clearly see the dichotomy between good and evil. There are no gray areas anymore. They're going to see a clear divide between good and evil. They're going to see the hand of Alahayam. They're going to see it. They have seen his face. They've seen the face of his son. And now they are going to be given a chance to make a choice to either serve him or not. All right? So that's the ending of part 7. Hopefully all these slides showed up. And now we're going to conclude with the blessing for Yashaoyah taken from Ba Madabar chapter 6 verses 24 to 26. That's Numbers chapter 6 verses 24 to 26. Yabarakak Yahweh wa Yashamarak. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. Ya'ar Yahweh panayo alayak wa yahanak. May Yahweh cause his face to shine upon you and have favor upon you. Yashaoyah Yahweh panayo alayak wa yasham lak Shalawam. May Yahweh lift up his face upon you and give you peace. And now we're going to recite the command we were instructed to recite when we lie down, when we get up, when we go out, and when we come in, taken from Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. That's the Barayam chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Shama o Yashwa'al, Yahweh Alahayana, Yahweh Ahad, wa Ahabath Ath, Yahweh Alahayak, Bakal Ababak, Wabakal Napashat, Wabakal Ma'adak. Hear, O Yashwa'al, Yahweh our Alahayam is one Yahweh, and you shall love Yahweh your Alahayam with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And with that I will say, Shalawam, Shalawam, all praises to the Most High, Abba Yah.